What's up, guys? We are digging back into the Black Widow Crimson Dynamo wave today with a look at Crossbones. This is a figure that I kind of was on the fence about, but at the end of the day, I really want a Crossbones figure, and at this point, this is probably the best, easiest way to get one, so here we are. So we've got him here in our standard Marvel Legends packaging. Got the figure in the window. Got some really cool stylized artwork of Crossbones on the side. I'm not really sure who the artist is for this, but I'm really digging this artwork. And then that same but larger shot is on the back. And then you've got a little bit of a write-up, the Build-A-Figure, and our lineup. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our new comic-inspired Crossbones figure. This is one that I was kind of on the fence about because, frankly, I never really cared too much for the character, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to be able to get a bunch of Cap-centric things, you know, get that Winter Soldier figure, get a Crossbones figure, have what really is my preferred version of Captain America now, and it's nice to just be able to get this figure. And of course, I think this guy is a marked improvement over that older figure, which I just never really cared for the look of it. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is on a very, very familiar body, so we're not going to be too surprised here. Pretty standard stuff, honestly. So you've got a head that can look really far up. He can look down. You've got to kind of watch it. It'll sit in certain spots. There's kind of a rubber banding thing going on. Like if you put it in the wrong spot, it's going to go down. If you put it in the wrong spot, it'll just sort of creep back up. Of course, it's going to go just down again, but you get my drift. You've got rotation. There isn't really any bobble on this head, though. Arms go out at the shoulders. They rotate all the way around. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, of course. You've got vertical hinges on these wrists, and then you've got rotation there. Both of them are vertical hinges, which is good because, you know, gun wielder. You've got an ab crunch. He goes backwards. He goes forwards. Waist twist, which is hidden pretty well by the belt. Doesn't get in the way either. Legs go out about that far. Pretty standard for this body, honestly. The actual straps and the holsters don't really seem to impede that. They kick forward about 90 degrees. They kick backwards just a smidge. And then you've got your thigh cut. You've, of course, got your double jointed knees, but he's got big chunky legs, so they only go back that far. You do have a boot cut here. And then you've got your rocker, and you've got hinges down at those ankles. So this guy is kind of tried and true when it comes to Marvel Legends articulation. Nothing missing, but nothing new. He doesn't have any of that newer style articulation that we've been seeing lately. He is pretty par for the course, but he still moves around decently for a kind of chunky figure. Now, as far as the aesthetics on this figure, I don't know what Crossbones looks like currently in comic books, and he's had a number of looks over the years, but this is kind of a classic version. This is very much an older style, the more bare bones, well, no pun intended, version. The version of Crossbones where he really just had kind of a jumpsuit on and a mask, and then he had his holsters and some pouches, really. Not until much later did he really get a lot of the, you know, more tactical style gear, so he always kind of just looked like a big bruiser wearing a shirt with some bones on it, really, and then a mask. And this one, whether he looks like this now or not, I think this works pretty well as maybe a more classic style version of Crossbones, and he definitely looks a lot like the artwork that they're pushing on this box as well. I don't know if they're supposed to tie into each other, if that's or if that is what he truly looks like again now, whatever you want to call it, but I think he looks pretty good. I mean, the body size is pretty nice. He is definitely on a slightly larger body than your average figure, you know, not Build-A-Figure level or anything, but he's got some bulk, he's got some size. You've got your pouches here, which are, of course, attached to the holsters, so it's all one moving piece, and it works pretty well. It doesn't get in the way. There is a little bit of paint on it for the buckle here, and then for the you know, the clasps on the belt pieces here. He does have two holsters that you can holster his guns in. We'll talk about those shortly. And then you've got these floating straps over here with more pouches on the wrist. So if you take the hands off, these can be removed if you want. He is on a very familiar body, so, you know, we've got kind of the matte finish legs with the glossy boots, so I really do like that. It works really well just to break him up from the waist down. And then for the chest, of course, you've just got the two big bones for the cross on his chest, and it works well. It's painted nicely. You know, there's nothing too crazy or too much to write home about when it comes down to this particular design. It's a black shirt with white bones on it, so the torso is black with the white paint over top, and it's pretty clean. I don't have too much issue with the fuzziness or anything like that. And then you've got the collar area, which is actually painted on, and it matches close enough to the arms to where it seems to be pretty consistent. But of course, the most striking aspect of this figure, of this character, is always the mask. And for the most part, I think this looks pretty good. Originally, when I had seen pictures of this figure and when he was originally revealed, I thought that his head looked a little bit small. And in person, it really doesn't seem to be too small. It seems to be, I don't know, pretty normal size head for this particular body. It's, of course, kind of trapped within this skin-tight mask, and you don't have any ears or anything popping out. There's no hair, so it's just one bald head, basically, as far as the figure goes. It is a black head with the white painted over top of it. There is a little bit of a differing layer of paint, so there seems to be less paint on the top of the head than on the face, which I suppose if I had to make that call on the face would be where to have more of the white. Everything is, thankfully, very crisp and clean, though. I don't have any issues with how this guy really looks. The eyes are really well done, very centered and straight. The line work for the teeth in the skull are really good. There's no issues with bleeding or fuzziness there, and it just looks good. It looks exactly like I expect it to. Very classic Crossbone style, and then of course you've got the two kind of ties coming off the back, kind of blowing in the wind, which works really well. You can't move these or anything. They are stuck in place, but they do look pretty good that way. Now, as far as accessories goes, Crossbones has a selection of guns. He's got a couple that, of course, you've already seen in the holster. So to start with, you've got two of these really pearly white kind of, I don't know, sci-fi style guns. I'm not a big fan of these because I just prefer to see him using more real world guns. And honestly, white pearly guns, I don't know about that. They look kind of goofy. I do like the fact that he's able to holster both of them, though. You may or may not know that that is kind of a pet peeve of mine when characters who should be able to holster things cannot holster them. So I like that he can do that. And then he's also got two of these kind of double barrel sawed-off shotgun, almost looking kind of guns. I don't know what these are supposed to be. I'm not a gun guy, but I know they look pretty cool, and these are also the guns he's holding in the package artwork. So I do like that. Another tie-in, another callback. Very different from the holstered guns. So you've got these are done up in kind of a dark gray. A good sculpt on them. No real paint on either set of guns, but he works pretty well with both. He can hold both guns very, very well. There is zero chance that these are going to be falling out of his hands, almost too tightly in some respects, but he can hold two guns at the same time and have these two holstered. So if you're like me, you could potentially have him holding every single gun at the same time, and I just enjoy that kind of stuff. So overall, this is a pretty solid figure. I don't know that he's going to wow anybody, but he does what he's supposed to do pretty well. He very much comes across as a older style, more classic-ish Crossbones figure as far as the comics go, and you know, for my money, that's what I'm all about. Those older style designs, the stuff that I'm more familiar with just from being a kid reading comic books. So I like the fact that we got this more almost generic, basic style design of figure because it really works well for this look and this outfit for Crossbones. He moves pretty well. Paint applications, you know, what paint applications there actually are on this figure are all really crisp and clean. I don't really have any issues with anything like that. No fuzzy lines, no bleeding or anything like that. And the face on that mask is really well painted. All the lines are clean and crisp. And he looks like Crossbones. He has a solid selection of weapons, although I'm not too keen on exactly what they look like, but I like that he has at least 4 guns. It's very Crossbones to have a lot of guns. So yeah, he's a pretty solid figure. Not much more to say. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Crossbones. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.